Hello everybody, it's Dio from Firm But Fair Gaming bringing you another video. Enjoying all the videos and content we produce, don't forget to click on that subscribe button, click on that like button, and don't be afraid to share. Don't forget to click on the notification button, customize it however you want, but that way you're notified whenever we publish another video. Hello everybody, welcome to another Diablo 3 video here in Season 27. Today we are taking a look at the Demon Hunter and we are taking a look at the Shadows Mantle set. So for those that are unfamiliar, the 2-piece bonus for this is while equipped with the melee weapon, your damage increased by 6,000%. 4-piece is Shadow Power, gains the effect of every rune and lasts forever. And lastly, your 6-piece is Impale deals an additional 75,000% weapon damage to the first enemy hit and 25,000 to subsequent enemies. So this is currently, after the first weekend, is the top build right now. It is also what is used for the RGK, the Rift Guardian Killer build in group play. So let's take a look. I want to first go through a run. I'm just going to jump into a 110 to show you what it looks like in action and talk a little bit about how to play it. Then after that, we'll break down the pieces that you need to pull this off. So let's go. So just going to jump into a 110 here. So it's pretty fresh in this season, so don't have a ton of Paragon. But it's still pretty solid here. So as you can see, things are just, I know this is just trash, but things are getting melted. You're a little bit squishy, so it is something to be mindful of. And basically all we're going to do is we're going to dance around the outside as best we can, utilizing range to chip things down. See, I just got clipped there once. Let's get a different view here. All right, here we go. So the build does use bolas, so we're going to use bolas to proc our Wraps of Clarity. We're also using focus and restraint, so we want to get those buffed up as well. And other than that, we're just going to dance around the outside. We are going to be getting our hatred replenished while we're strafing around here with basically the sanctified weapon is going to let us pull that off. So we're just spamming our, oh, my follower is dead. I still need to get his immortality. Just concentrate a little bit because we are quite squishy. That is actually quite dangerous down there, especially with the sand dwellers. So we're shooting bolas to keep up our Wraps of Clarity, like I mentioned, and then we're just staying away. Really, I would have loved to have jumped into that Oculus ring, but it was a little too dicey to do so. Pop my Dark Vengeance there. And we're just going to stay outside the range and chip these guys down. There we go. And as you can see, we're already well ahead on... Oh, my follower is dead again. I wanted to try to get there before. So we'll just take down these guys. They're always quite... actually, those guys are quite deadly, so we don't really ever want to be face to face with them. I was looking elsewhere and got hit. So you're that squishy. But at least the good news is my follower's alive, so I can pop this now. Spinners, another bane of existence. Is incredibly deadly, but they're dead already. Just going to chew through this elite. As you can see, make quick work of him. See if I can pay better attention up here. I think I got hit by a fireball or something. My follower is dead again. I really wish I had to fix that before coming in. But we're just keeping everything at a distance, shooting our bolas, keeping our Wraps of Clarity up. Pop our Dark Hearts here. So while we're strafing due to our sanctified weapon, we're also shooting out the impales. So that is where all our damage is coming from. It is a pretty strong build. The top one right now, I think at this point in the first weekend, they're doing solo 130s. It's easily got much more potential. Like I said, it's the RGK build for group play. A 4-man has already done 150s. It's actually pretty fun to play. It is like you do have to do a little bit of dancing towards the outsides, but the damage output is pretty phenomenal. So if you just like watching everything go boom from a distance while you're nice and protected, this is great. It does also, like with the dancing though, it does teach you to be a little bit better in general for other classes as you dodge projectiles, stay out of the way of magic effects. I'm not doing that right now because I have the shield, but it's got transferable skills to other classes. On to the next floor. Just mowing down, elite hunting right now. Seems we have conduit plus the shield. Making use of our Oculus as we can. Shield is probably going, oh, we still got a little bit left. See how long this lasts. Of course, our follower has a flavor of time. There we go. So if you're not hitting, so this build really works well when you aren't one-shotting absolutely everything, because the hatred regen is based off hitting a target multiple times. So if you kill it in one shot, you're not going to be able to get the hatred refund, and then you're going to run out of hatred, and then you can't spin and shoot as often and move so freely. I found that when I was doing this sub 100, that was my issue because it was just so strong. It was obliterating everything. And so I actually had to progress and get higher in GRs in order to things to survive the first hit so I could get the resource back and so I could keep spinning and in fact do better damage and more damage. So if you're looking for a speed build in which to farm like bounties or keys or anything like that, this is not the build. This is like a push build. It is not mobile enough in this format to be a speed farm. If you want to do something like that, go use the gods build with strafe and all that sort of thing. And a yang, that'll be what you'll want there. And it's actually phenomenal. The Yang's god build is phenomenal for speed. How would I stay out of that? Kind of got lazy there near the end. So now we're just going to dance around to the outside. In group play, you'll probably want to use the Stricken in solo. So far, you don't need to. Maybe when you get up into the higher keys, like 130s and 140s, may need to. When things have tons of health and you want to build those stacks. But otherwise, so far, I'm getting by with the low-level Zais as well as Bane of the Trapped and a Teguk. Anyway, so that is the run. That's basically how you go through it and a little bit about the build. Now let's take a look about what you actually wear and the skills. So here we are. Let's take a look at the items that we're going to be using. So we are only wearing 5 of the set pieces because we are using Ring of the Royal Grandeur. So in here we have the helmet, the chest piece, the gloves, legs, and the boots. And then because we're wearing Ring of the Royal Grandeur, we're also going to be benefiting by getting to wear the new build here, the Guardians Jeopardy set. So here we have the bracers and the belt to complete the set there to give us the 3-piece bonus due to the ring. So if you're unfamiliar with this new set that came out for season 27, basically for every 1,000 points of vitality, we get 1% melee damage mitigation. And then for every 1,000 point of base strength, dex, or intellect, we get range, so missile damage reduction. And then the 3-piece bonus is it doubles the effect of strength, dex, int, and vitality. So doubling the damage mitigation that we get, as well as increasing our life and damage on our character sheet, so how much we deal. We're also wearing focus and restraint. So the bonus for this is when you hit with the resource generate attack, we get 50% more damage for 5 seconds. And when we hit with the resource spending attack, we deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. So we're going to be proccing that with shooting our bolas and then also with our strafe and our impale. So we're going to get basically 100% more damage from that. Additionally, we're wearing the Mantle of Channeling. So while we are channeling, we deal up to 25% more damage and take 25% reduced damage. Our neck piece that we're wearing is Squirts. So while not taking damage, we get a stacking debuff, as you can see here, and then that doubles our damage. And then, of course, while not taking damage, it increases the damage we take up to a max of 50%. So as soon as we take damage, we lose our stacks, and then we have to start building them again. And then for our offhand, we are using the Holy Point Shot. So this basically, it's for the unique affix where Impale throws 2 additional knives and deals up to 100% more damage. And then lastly, our weapon that we're using is we're going to be using ConqueLst Point. So its base ability is the damage of Impale is increased by 375%. And then it returns 15 hatred if it hits an enemy already impaled. And then what we want is we wanted Strafe onto it. So now Strafe casts the last non-channel hatred spending ability cast, which would be the Impale, maximizing our damage there. Taking a look at our legendary gems, there are a couple options. So one of the mandatory ones is Bane of the Trap. So of course, Bane of the Trap increases damage against enemies under the effects of control and parrying effects by a certain percentage. And at rank 25, we gain an aura that reduces the movement speed of enemies within 15 yards by 30%, thus giving us the control and parrying effect to proc the Bane of the Trap damage bonus. Another mandatory gem is Teguk. So gain a certain percent of increased damage for 1.5 seconds when you spend resource on a channeled skill. That stacks up to 10 times. So that, of course, is our Strafe. So as you can see, we're stacking Teguk there. And then also we gain 2% armor for every stack. Now, the ones that you might be able to switch between, seeing success with the Zai. So damage you deal is increased by a certain percent for every 10 yards between you and the enemy hit, up to a max of 50 yards. And then at rank 25, you get a 20% chance to stun the enemy for 1 second. But in group play or in the higher GRs, potentially like the 140 range, probably going to need to switch to Stricken. So Stricken, of course, is each attack you make against an enemy increases the damage they take from your attacks by a certain percent, and that stacks. So if at first they take 1%, then 2, 4, whatever, so on and so forth. And then at rank 25, we get 25% increased damage against bosses and Rift Guardians. So those are the 4 different possible legendary gems that you could use, but really the only choice is between the Zai and the Stricken because it's mandatory to have Tegux and Bane of the Trap. For our cube, so for ConqueLst Cube, just make sure, okay, yeah, so in our weapon we want Dawn, so it's going to reduce the cooldown of Vengeance by 65%. We're using Wraps of Clarity for our armor, so our hatred generators reduce our damage taken by 50% for 5 seconds. And then, of course, Ring of Royal Grandeur, reducing the number of set items required by 1, which will let us wear our the Shadow's Mantle set with 5 pieces, and then our Guardian's Jeopardy with 2 pieces, and then getting the 6 and 3-piece bonus respectively. Lastly, let's cover the skills. So, Vengeance Darkheart, so turns us into a killing machine for 20 seconds, as well as reducing our damage taken. Impale with Chemical Burn, so we're going to throw a knife, and it causes the enemies to slowly burn after each strike. Drifting or Strafe with Drifting Shadows, so this is going to, with our weapon, it's going to shoot impales while we're strafing around. Bolas with Freezing Strike, so this is going to slow them. And then also proc our Wraps of Clarity. And then also, because one of our passes is Call of the Week, increased damage against slowed enemies, we're going to get a 20% bonus there. Then we're using Smokescreen with Displacement, so we're going to vanish from sight for 1.5 seconds and then get a movement speed. And then Shadow Power with Shadow Glide, so we're going to gain life for dealing damage for 5 seconds, and it's going to also increase movement speed while it's active. For our passes, been utilizing Thrill the Hunt, so enemies hit by our hatred spenders are slowed by 80%. So also we're going to get the bonus there from Call of the Week. Then we have Awareness, so we're running a second life here. And then using Ambush, where we deal 40% additional damage to enemies above 75%. If you're feeling tough and skilled, you can take Awareness out because we got the second life in your follower. If your follower is going to live, so if you have they cannot die, you could just utilize that as a second life. And so then you could do Archery for some increased damage, through the crit chance. You could also do, I think that's about the only one I do. I mean, you could do the Blood Vengeance if you really want, or Steady Aim. So those are a few options if you want to sub out of the second life. Lastly, just a reminder for the gameplay or the rotation, if you will, and what you want to do. So as we're strafing around, we want to keep our distance from our targets because we're a little bit squishy. We'll want shadow power active. Smoke screen, I really only use that if I need to get out of dodge, or if we're weak and I just want to get away, so then I can regen health from just my basic attacks. But we're going to strafe, shoot bolas to proc our Wraps of Clarity, and then the Impale is also going to, between the bolas and the Impale, they're going to proc our Focus and Restraint. I can't show that because I'm in town. And then when we want the damage, I would kind of use Vengeance on CD. You just pop that and you'll turn into a killing machine as well as survive machine. And we're just staying at a distance, spinning around and around, bolas every few seconds to keep our Wraps Clarity up and just chip away at them, and they are going to go down. Our most dangerous part is when we are up close and personal, and also, of course, any magic effects like Plague and Arcane, Mortars, and all that stuff is going to be tough on us, which is, of course, is why we are rocking resistance gems in our gear. So this brings me to the end of the video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. I'll do my best to answer them. As always, we appreciate likes, shares, and subscribes. So please click those buttons. And also, we are streaming on Twitch now. Thursdays and Saturdays are going to be our designated Diablo nights. So come check it out there. My Twitch will be in the description for the video below. So come check it out. Come hang out, chat, run some keys, do whatever. Come hang out. It'll be lots of fun. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you are enjoying Diablo 3 Season 27, and we'll see you in the next video.